San Juan Regional Medical Center is your community hospital, committed to making life better for the communities we are privileged to serve. In fact, better is our mission, improving lives through personalized health and care. What matters most to our patients matters most to us, offering a comprehensive range of inpatient, outpatient, and emergency care services so you can get the quality care you need right here at home. San Juan Regional Medical Center, celebrating life better here since 1910. KSJE is supported by the Farmington Civic Center, bringing the Simon and Garfunkel story back to the stage after sold-out tours around the world. The nostalgic multimedia experience and a full live band perform all the hits, including Mrs. Robinson, Cecilia, Homeward Bound, and many more. The Simon and Garfunkel story at the Farmington Civic Center, Tuesday, January 24th at 7:30 p.m. Find out more at fmtn.org/shows. Minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Monday morning, the 9th day of January, 2023. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Michlin. Thank you for tuning in to community-supported KSJE 90.9 FM over the air, of course, here in San Juan County. In Durango, Colorado, we're on the air at 103.3 FM. And if you're anywhere else on the planet, you can always listen to us live by going to our website, ksje.com, or ask your smart speaker to play KSJE, and it'll do just that. We also welcome our viewers who are joining us this morning because, thanks to you, this is a community-supported visual radio station. So we welcome the viewers who are joining us today on the KSJE Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and our Twitter account. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We're glad that you are with us because coming up this morning, a really great interview I had with the spouses of Team Guardian. Two of the three members of Team Guardian, their spouses were with me, and we were talking about how they're doing and what they're hearing from the team who are in the middle of their trek across the Atlantic Ocean, of course. They are rowing 3,000 miles across the Atlantic Ocean, so we'll hear from them and how they are faring during this time, coming up in the next few moments right here on KSJE Today. Later on this hour, we'll be checking in, of course, with Lewis Campbell from Synergy Computer Systems. Our technology segment on Mondays resumes. Our Monday reboot segment today, 8:50 a.m. on KSJE. Next hour, Mick Hess will be here roving with the arts, and Mick is featuring some great music for us this morning, so we hope you'll join him for that. That starts after the news at 9:06 on KSJE. We invite you to connect with us on our social media platforms, including Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, and also our Instagram page. And a reminder, of course, if you're a podcast person, you can subscribe for free to KSJE Podcasts wherever you listen to podcasts. So just add us to your list. Places like iTunes and Spotify and iHeartRadio and Google Podcasts and Pandora. The list goes on and on. So we hope you will check it out and subscribe. Maybe discover a program here that you may have missed recently. Outside our studios here at San Juan College, it's a partly sunny morning this morning, 27 degrees outside. We're expecting a partly sunny day today with a high of 47 degrees in Farmington, 32 overnight. Tomorrow, partly sunny skies, a low near 50, high near 50 degrees tomorrow. Low tomorrow night of 36 with maybe a snow shower popping up overnight on Tuesday. Then partly sunny again on Wednesday with a high near 44. More sunshine on Thursday, the high 41. 44 on Friday. We're taking a look at the weather the second half of the weekend with maybe a good chance of rain or snow showers developing Sunday on into Monday of next week. Joining me this morning to talk a little bit about the Team Guardian trip. Of course, they are halfway across their route as they go across the Atlantic Ocean. Two of the spouses from Team Guardian joining me here in the studio this morning. Robyn Pfetzer is here, and also Jill Slindee. Good morning to both of you. It's good to have you here. Thank you for being here.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. And gosh, it's exciting to see the reports from the middle of the Atlantic Ocean of how the guys are doing. And I wanted to bring you in just to kind of talk to both of you about how you both are doing and the families. And we should mention, too, that there's a third spouse who's not able to join us today, and that is Darlene Hogue, and she is visiting family and friends in Colorado during all this, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
very good. Well, let me start with you, Robyn, a little bit about, first of all, how you are doing, and then what you hear from Mark.
I'm doing pretty good.
Okay.
I told Mark I'm going to have a lot of bad, lazy habits when he gets back because I go to work and then come home and watch TV shows. No cooking, no cleaning.
That's it.
Yep.
That's what you're doing. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Very good. And Jill, let me ask you kind of same question. How are you doing, and what do you hear from Jared?
We're doing good. I have 2 boys, so I'm kind of at home with my kids a lot. So doing the full-time mom thing paired with work, but we're in our schedule. We've got a routine, so we're doing pretty good.
Okay.
And just enjoy hearing from Jared as much as he has been in contact with us.
Right.
So.
Right. And the kids are doing okay?
Yeah, the kids are doing all right. Our youngest, Kate, is 5, and so he's just kind of like indifferent to it. If he gets a video from Dad, he thinks that's pretty cool. But our oldest, Brock, he's 8, and he's missing his dad a lot right now.
Is he? But he gets to talk to him once in a while, right? When he's able to call in?
Yeah, when he's able to call in. If Brock's around, he does get to say hi, but usually it's not for more than like 20, 30 seconds. So.
Right, but still, that's got to be important,
something,
right?
It's something.
Yeah, and that's amazing to me too. Is just that the team is able to communicate with you on a fairly regular basis. We were talking before we came on the air this morning that through satellite phones and other forms of technology, you're able to kind of communicate back and forth every other day or so, but at least have some regular communication. That's got to be reassuring to both of you.
Yes. It is nice to hear a voice and know that they are doing okay, not just via like a text or social media. So it is nice.
Right, right. Now let me ask you a little bit about your reactions when they first came home and told you about this great idea to do this rowing trip across the Atlantic Ocean. Robyn, what did you think when you heard about this idea?
Well, I probably had a heads up on it before Jill because Mark talked about it. Probably the first time he got this idea was in 2009.
Okay, so it's been rolling around for a while, at least with him.
Yes, and my first reaction at that time was, no, you'll die. You know, I mean, because people don't row across the ocean. And I really have to give props to Jill and Jared, because at the time our kids were 9 and 10 years old, and that was my thought too. I mean, we got 2 kids. And so it popped back up again 10 years later. And to me, at that point, I had watched some stuff and read some books. And so it was like, oh, okay. I don't know the background of how Mark had brought it up to Jared, but then you know Jared's side of it.
Okay.
So, like, I don't like to just flat out say no, you know, like a lot of times with Jared, I'm going to do this. Oh, okay, sounds good. And then maybe it like fizzles out. But,
very encouraging. Very
so
encouraging.
I was trying to be supportive and like, okay, well, we can look at that and see how it goes. And it just never fizzled out. So
it kept coming back. So you knew this was a thing.
It kept coming back. So I'm like, okay, this isn't a phase. This is like
Right.
Mark and Jared are doing this. And I should have known that from the get-go with how Mark is.
Yes,
and
getting involved with something with Mark doesn't go away.
I know.
Right.
No, and I should have known that going in, but I probably wouldn't have said no anyways. Like,
Sure.
Jared's, if it's important to Jared, I want him to be able to do that. So.
Right. And of course, through all the training and everything else, I mean, I'm sure that you've been watching and there every step of the way. I think, were you both in the Canary Islands for the launch, or just were you both able to go?
No.
No.
I went.
You were able to go.
And Darlene went.
Darlene was able to go. Okay.
But Jill,
Gotcha.
that was...
I stayed home with the kiddos.
Yes.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. And for the arrival in Antigua, what are the plans for that?
We will all be
Yes.
there.
Everybody's
It's going
gonna
to
go.
be a great party.
Okay, awesome. Well, that's good to know.
Yes.
And you were telling me that they're on schedule, they're halfway through, and they may be arriving a bit early from what you understand.
I think they're a little bit behind of where they want to be, but we have this app, and some of our viewers may have downloaded the YB Races app, but that app on there tells like their expected arrival date, and we were given information today that said, well, when you're looking at the app, there's 2 different tabs. You can look at the start and you can look at recent. And the tab that says start is 3 days off from the start that says recent. And they said, so make sure you're following recent, and that would push them 3 days ahead of what we actually thought they would be, or what they're expected to be arriving at. So
Gotcha.
we're looking at January 29th right now.
Okay. And that's exciting, I
Yes.
think, too.
Yes.
And for folks who are maybe have been living under a rock for the last month or so, they started their trip mid-December. So they've been on the water since then.
Yeah, December
For almost a month.
12th.
Almost
Yeah.
a month.
So yeah, Monday it'll be 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Right?
So there you go.
I think so.
Yeah.
5.
Oh, is it 5?
I don't know.
Who's counting? But a long
counting?
time.
Yes.
A long time.
Of rowing.
Right, and that's another thing. I mean, so we've been talking to them, of course, as they've been training and fundraising and getting everything ready and getting the boat ready, and it's a special boat, of course, and all these different things that they've been planning for, and from Navajo Lake to the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean to the other part of the Atlantic Ocean. I mean, all over the place, and they've really been trying to, I think, take in every account that could happen. You know, what if all the what ifs and things. But it sounds like there are just things that have happened that maybe no one could really plan for when you're out on the ocean for 4 weeks or 5 weeks, however long that it has been. And so, talk to me a bit about what are some of the things that they've had to deal with, because you can't just run to Lowe's and find a replacement part when you're in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
What's been happening?
So from the start,
Yeah.
the race prepares them, so they have a list of everything that they need, tools, repair kits.
And there's
backups.
inspections too,
Yes,
right, of all the
yes,
equipment and the boat and everything else,
yes.
right?
So everything was inspected, checked off on, they have their repair stuff. Right from the start, they had some water maker issues, which water is important.
Now, this is the machine that actually makes drinkable
Yes.
water when you're out in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was not functioning when they would go to turn it on, so they were having to restart it every time. So there was some concern, because if that breaks, that's it, really.
Right.
But they had support via our wonderful satellite and conveniences of nowadays.
Right.
And
Someone walked them through, or they were able to find out how
so
to.
they troubleshooted,
Okay.
and they told them, if it's working, keep going with it. And they did have a leak in a compartment that they had to get all hands on deck and troubleshoot, figure out what it was, block the leak, and so far I think that's been fine.
Okay.
Some AIS issues, that's the indicating device that says where the boat is for other boats, and their radio to contact other boats.
Okay.
I believe those are functioning for safety purposes.
Okay.
Maybe not top notch, but
But they're able to get by.
yes.
It sounds like. Okay.
Yeah. And then some seat bearing issues. So the seats that they use when they're rowing roll back and forth, and that's important. And with salt water, it's very corrosive, and so with the continued rough seas, it's just continually splashing over the side. So they're having to be very aware and lubricate those bearings. They had to replace a couple of them, so they just need them to hold out.
A few more weeks.
And-
Yeah, a few more weeks.
1,300 more
Yes.
miles.
That's
Yeah.
right. But that's the idea. And so I know that, and they brought spares, because I think this is a known maybe
Yes.
issue sometimes, and so they were able to at least bring some spares, but you surely don't want to run out
Yeah.
before you're done.
Yeah, and that was a concern.
Yeah.
Because right off, I think before even 2 weeks had passed, they had to replace a couple of them, so that was a concern. But we prayed a lot, and
So far, so good,
Yes.
right? Jill, what about you? What are you hearing from the team as they're embarking on this?
I think aside from equipment, like body-wise, there's been some struggles.
Your
And
blisters, a
so-
lot of blisters,
yeah, lots
right?
of blisters. Jared said his feet are really hurting him right now. Like, so the latest is his feet.
Okay.
And it seems like it's just moved to different body. I don't know if it's the same with Mark, but it
The
has
pain is
moved
just
with
migrating
different-
around?
Yeah, it just changes all the
Huh.
time. So like it's his feet now. It was his butt in the beginning. It was his lower back, and like, but they're just his feet are what hurting him
Gotcha.
the most right now.
And they're not doing a lot of walking.
Oh yeah, he had something with appetite too. Like he had like no appetite like the first 2.5 weeks, and then
Wow.
now he's fine. Like that's changed, but
Well, that's good,
Yeah.
because that could really be a big deal.
Yeah.
I think Mark has been raiding Jared's snack bags, I heard.
No
Oh
way.
my.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Because Jared's not eating them.
Oh, well, there you go. I
And
guess
so
you snooze, you lose.
it's like
What is he
school
taking?
lunch.
What is he taking?
He was Oreos.
Is that the
and
law of the high seas? Is
Yeah.
that something maybe like that?
Mark's going through chocolate withdrawals.
yeah.
Oh, no. Wow. Interesting. But I guess you just never know, right? Well, how you're going to be affected. And I suppose, and again, the seas have been really rough. I mean, I think maybe more than maybe that they were expecting for this
Right.
duration of the trip, right? Because maybe I think at some point they thought things would calm down, but that hasn't happened.
Yeah, they had a really bad storm, kind of week 2 or 3, week 3 I think, which they thought was never going to end. So, like that's
And
at
how do they
least
describe
over.
this storm? Can you let us, I mean, was it just
a lot of wind,
Wind,
making
high wind.
huge waves, like 30-foot waves. They were having to row
Right.
over, I guess, over.
Yeah.
through or yeah,
Through
something?
over
But yeah, you can't
that
go
were
around
hitting
them.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Today, like they actually had, I think they had a little bit of a storm. I think that's why they were in their rain gear in those recent pictures. But they had what's called a knockout today, or knockdown. I really don't know the terminology, but where they were hit by a wave, probably side. A wave hit them from the side, and it tipped the boat, and they all fell into the water.
Thanks.
So they didn't have a full capsize. They didn't go completely over and around or anything like that. But they did have a knockout, which it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
But
No kidding. But they're all tethered. That's part of the safety equipment, right? So if you do
Yes.
get knocked out of the boat, you're not away from the boat. You can get back to the boat. And that's important, I think. And the boats are designed to self-right or be able to get right if they don't do it automatically.
Yep.
And so everything like that is good, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And they'll get back in the boat.
Yes.
Yes, they
So,
were able to get
yeah,
back
so
in.
that's good. So that's important. Here's another picture. This is Jared, of course, and it's just water everywhere.
Yeah, that's all you can see.
Yeah.
That's all they've been looking at.
And even the other boats, right? Because they're not really necessarily in visual contact with the other boats
No,
all the time.
they are
They may
not.
come in once in a while proximity, but not all the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they can get. I think they've been in contact. Like they've picked up radio frequencies and stuff from other boats, but I don't think they've really had a lot of other boat sightings.
They did see, was it a couple weeks ago, a boat just fly past them.
Oh.
And Mark was so frustrated. I don't know if you heard this from Jared.
No, I didn't.
But they're rowing away, and, they feel like they're working hard,
Yeah,
and they're going as
right.
fast as they can. And just, I don't know which side they looked, and I think it was, I don't know if it was a women's team, and they just went by them so quick.
Wow.
And they thought, what ocean are they rowing in,
Right.
But I do know that they had that sighting, and they saw them. And I think they did actually talk
To them.
to another
yeah.
team, yeah.
Okay.
That was close by. So it's kind of fun, I think, for them
Sure.
to have that.
Yeah, I would think so. Well, and they can probably get locations too and see kind of where they are. And they've been kind of in the middle of the pack, if you will, from the start, it seems to me, which is probably where they want to be.
Yes. Well,
And it's
it
not,
looks
and they're
like-
not racing to be
No.
the first. They're just wanting to
They wanna
get to start to
finish.
finish, of course. Right.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting because it's like there's 3 heats. And then you have kind of like these stragglers off, and it depends on how many rowers there are.
Right.
But, you have your first group that are intense. They're in it to win it.
Right.
And then the second group probably wanted to be in it to win it. I don't know. I don't want to insult
But now they just
anybody.
want to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the third group, which, I keep encouraging, like when I talk to Mark, he'll want to know how they look. And I'll be like, you're doing good. You're in the middle of the middle, and you're staying on, because you're out at sea.
You just don't know.
You have nothing to
There's no reference.
measure. Yeah. And so, I'm telling them, you're looking good. You look like you know what you're doing. You're going in the right direction.
Right. Right. Good.
Keep that in one.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very cool. Here's another picture from the boat, of course. And this is Mark and Mike.
Yes.
And they are looking like they're a little cold, I guess.
It
And the
looks like
weather's
a
been
cold day.
Yeah, the weather's been kind of all over the place too, right? As they get close to the equator, though, it's warming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they've had some. Like one day I'll talk to Jared and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so cold and I've got everything, a piece of clothing on, and it's just freezing at night. It's freezing at night." And then the next day it's like, "Oh my gosh, it's so hot. It's so hot. I can't believe how hot it is."
Right.
So yeah, the weather has been fluctuating quite a bit for them.
Gotcha. Interesting. And of course, we've seen reports from some of the other teams. There was one team that had to be rescued, which I'm sure keeps you up at night, about the what ifs. But it seems like that all those emergency responses and things went according to plan, which has got to make you feel comfortable somewhat.
Yes. Yeah, that was really
That
good.
was scary.
Yeah, it was. And that was one of my concerns, as kind of a reassuring thing as a wife. It was like, oh, these boats are made for this. They're supposed to self-right. And so in my mind, it's what went wrong. Why did that happen?
Right. And what happened was a boat capsized and didn't self-right, and the team was in the ocean and had to be rescued by other boats.
A freight. I think it was
a freighter.
A freight.
Yeah.
And we were told at the beginning of the race they had a family meeting, and they told us that most likely any rescues would be done by ships nearby.
Just passing by. Well, whoever's closest is called
and
upon. Sure.
Then you go where they go, and then you get home at some point.
Right. Because I think the team is now in Canada or something that got rescued, right?
They'll
That's
be
where
in
the boat
Canada,
was
I
going.
think in a couple weeks, they'll be in Canada.
They said that if you have to get rescued, most likely you will get home later or close to the time that you would have finished if you rode the whole way.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because you're just on the route where the ship is going.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I do feel disappointed for that team because I know what it took from family and from the guys and to start going through the struggle, and the fun part of the struggle is the finish. So for them to not be able to finish,
It's a bummer.
yeah. And it's
Right.
kind of one of those things when you're going through a struggle, the reassuring fact of I'm never going to do this again. And now maybe these guys, to accomplish that feat will have to do it again. But
Sure.
I'm glad they're safe.
Yeah, of course, we all are, for sure. And there's been other issues, too, with some of the teams, right? I mean, some broken equipment, and the rudder broke, or the rudder control thing broke, which you really kind of need.
Yes.
There was a marlin incident.
Strike.
Right
away.
Marlin
Yeah.
strike.
It was.
And that was, and did it puncture the boat, or just hit the boat?
I think it just hit the rudder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is
Gotcha.
if I
Because they can be
know
kind
that
of
correctly.
angry, I guess,
Yeah,
at some point. So
Scary.
But-
That's what Jared was afraid of.
Yes,
That was one of
he
his
was.
biggest fears going into it, was getting attacked by marlin,
interesting.
because you have no control over that
Right.
whatsoever.
And then I've seen great videos of like dolphin pods and other fish and sea life just kind of swimming near the boats and just doing what they do in the ocean, which has got to be really fascinating to see as well.
A couple days ago, maybe, Mark, they had a shark follow them for a while. And then another whale, and they've had some dolphins, and they did see a marlin.
Okay.
Oh, they did? I
Yeah,
didn't know
they
that.
did see a marlin.
That's cool.
And I don't think they've had any birds. One of the teams had a bird that kept coming back. They were
Interesting.
showing that on social media.
I did see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they give it a name. I can't
Yeah.
recall the name now, but yes, they did name the bird.
funny.
And it seems weird because you're how many miles from land, right?
Yeah.
So this poor bird is out, I don't know, flying around.
Yeah.
Apparently. So
I found somewhere to land.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stories they're going to bring back too
I hope so.
when they come. But the plan is, of course, for them to arrive in Antigua around the end of January, 1st of February. But that's kind of the idea. You all are going to go and meet them, and it's really exciting to have gone through this whole process with them, and certainly the awareness that they're raising for mental health. We certainly want to remind folks about the website, the row3000.com, right? To support what they're doing and learn more about their goals and what they're raising money for and awareness for. And so that's really important as well. I wanted to keep asking you, though, both a little bit about, what are your thoughts now from here to the end? We're kind of at the midway point. And so things seem to be going well. They've dealt with all these things that have come up, and it looks like they're well prepared to deal with stuff from now to the end. So what are you getting ready for, Jill?
Like I was telling Jared the other day, we had a conversation, like, well, I'm going to have to start packing your stuff soon. Like, I think next week I'm going to start getting the suitcase out and start packing. He's like, start packing? We got 3 weeks. I'm like, it's going to fly by. And he's like, fly by? What are you talking about?
It wouldn't be enough for
like,
him.
I'm really busy. My days fly by. Your days may not fly by, but like time
Right.
has really gone by fast.
For you.
For me.
Yeah.
We have stayed busy.
I felt the same way.
We have just been go. We've kept busy.
Yeah.
We did
Right.
But when they first left, we did all the things. We had Christmas parade, we had festival
yeah, we went
trees,
to
Oh,
we
sure.
had
Oh, yeah,
luminarias here. We did
Right.
all the things to keep ourselves busy, and we just haven't stopped doing that. So
That's probably a good thing, though, for you
Yeah.
and the kids, I would think.
time's going to fly for us, at least. I hope it goes by fast for them, too.
Right.
But I hope they can enjoy it,
Right. I'm sure.
because it's a once-in-a-lifetime kind
Yes.
of thing.
Right.
Yes.
Robyn, what about for you? I mean, it's been going by quick for you, too, the time?
Yeah, I think, I talked about my lazy habits now.
Right.
But I think going to work, having my normal schedule
Sure.
is good. Having the holidays come. I did stay, when I went to their send-off, I stayed a little bit longer and traveled around Spain. So I
Not
had
too
a little-
shabby.
No.
No?
and that
Good
was
for
fun.
you.
And I wore myself out, and then I had to have recovery time when I got back and working. And,
Right.
I thought the same thing the other day. I'm going to get Mark's suit, because we have a list, and he keeps texting me messages of, okay, you need to bring this for me, you need to bring that, and it's all comfort stuff.
Okay.
I mean, it's like
Just stuff he's
oh, yeah,
craving or
what does he
needing
want?
or remembering. Yeah. All right.
Can you share anything that you want?
I don't know. Comfy underwear,
Okay. All right.
dry.
All right.
Right.
Yeah. And
Sure.
what else did he say? He's starting to come up with food lists of things that he wants.
Okay.
And
Yes, so is Jared.
yeah, he was very particular when we were talking about trying to pick somewhere to stay. He's like, I just want a bathroom. I just want a bathroom.
Okay. Check.
And
That's an
yes,
easy one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I do want to start getting his suitcase together so I don't forget anything. And,
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be here faster. We have a change in our schedule. Every day, we go to sleep, wake up. I think for them, it's like, it's just so continuous. Maybe it's dragging on longer, So,
Sure. Well, and then it's been like, is it a 2-hour? Is that how they've set up kind of their shifts, or did that adjust a little bit as they got out on the water? Because I know the plan was to maybe just do short stints of rowing while someone's 2 rowing, 1 sleeping, or that kind of a thing. Is that still what they're able to do?
Yeah, it's kind of complicated. It's hard for me to figure it out, but they're not doing the normal 2 hours on, 2 hours off. During the day, they are doing something similar to that, but they're rotating like 2 rower, 1 rower, 2 rower.
Okay.
And they're switching between each other. But then at night, at some time in the night, each of them get a 4-hour rest schedule.
That kind of makes sense to me.
Yes.
That I
And they
think,
picked that because they wanted
Yeah.
that 4 hours.
I think it'd be hard to sleep just for 2 or rest for 2 and then
Yeah.
have to come back and start rowing again.
Yeah.
That's
But-
one thing that Jared's mentioned, is that he's like, I have no time. Like, you would think, like, you can get a lot done in an hour, but there is just, by the time you get off the oars and then you get into your cabin or you make your food, it's time to get back on the oars again and eat your food. It's
Right.
time to and do your chores, because they all have their chores that they have to do.
Sure.
Like, you got to get back on the oars. And so he's like, we had a lot of people write letters. He's like, I'm falling behind on my letters and all this stuff, and just because there's no time.
Right.
Mark said the same thing.
Interesting. But they're hanging in there.
They're
Yes.
hanging
Sure.
in there. They're doing it.
Right, which is exciting. And again, they've been training for this for months and months and months.
Years and years and
Years and years and years, pardon
Yeah.
me. Right. And so they've got to feel great to actually be able to be doing it. I mean, this
Yes.
has got to be, a dream come true, and to be able to be out there and doing what they said they were going to do. And I know they were really waiting and anticipating being able to get out there and do this. So we're really excited for them.
Yeah. We are too.
You know what? When they first started, can I share one more story?
Of course. Please do.
When they first started, like, planning this whole thing, Jared's like, "Oh, I'm going to buy a rower." And so we bought a row machine. Do you guys have a rowing
Yep,
machine?
we got
so
one too.
Okay. And so right before they left, I'm like, "Hey, when you get back, we can sell the rowing machine. It'll be great. You can have some extra money in your pocket." And he's like, "No, don't sell it. I'm not going to sell the rowing machine. I'm going to keep that. Like, I might want to row some more. You never know." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever." Well, the other day when he called me, he said, "Jill, can you sell my rowing machine?"
Don't even wait for me to
I
get back.
don't wait, just
No.
get it sold.
I don't wanna
And
see
so
another
I posted it on Facebook Marketplace, and it was like, "Thank you, Terry Stewart, for buying it."
There
but,
you go.
Wow.
Okay.
But it was gone in like 10 minutes.
Wow.
So
Okay.
someone else, it can be someone else's
Okay.
They can make a team.
passion. Yeah, they can
Right.
make a team.
Right. So I guess I have to ask, if they come back and want to do this again,
No, not happening.
ladies, no?
No.
No.
We've already made a
United
pact.
Front.
Yes.
Okay.
Pact,
No.
United Front.
But I haven't heard any hint of that from Mark. Mark is like, Robyn, whoever says that they like ocean rowing, they're crazy. He does not want to do it again.
Okay.
But it's kind of like, so Mark and I...
But he had to do it to know he doesn't want to do it again.
Yes, for sure.
I
But it's
understand.
like one of those things, like, we used to run marathons. And so you're hating it in the middle of the marathon, and you're saying, I'm never doing this again. Why am I doing this? And then at the end, give yourself a couple of days, and by the next week, you've signed up for another one because you want that T-shirt and to eat whatever you want. But on this, I'm a little weary that may happen. But Jill and I both have said absolutely not. And Mark, he'll respect.
Yeah.
You know, I think maybe in my life there will always be another
adventure
goal or challenge.
Sure.
Because that's
For
how
sure.
Mark works. But it will not be ocean rowing.
It'll not be
Okay.
ocean rowing. And
All right. Jill, what about you?
Yeah, same. Like,
Yeah.
I'm definitely on this. We're on the
Okay,
same page
okay.
for
But
sure.
if Jared wants to do some
100%.
other type of adventure thing,
for
you
sure.
would be...
And I think I get the sense from, like, this Talisker Whiskey Atlantic campaign thing, like, once you've done it, like, you're part of a club.
Yes.
And you're part of that club for life.
Yeah.
Sure,
So he was
sure.
already talking, like, well, maybe we could go out. They're going to do a Pacific race this year. Atlantic Campaigns has bought the rights to the Pacific race, which
Okay.
starts in California and ends in Hawaii. And their first official
It's next
is going to start
Or
in
this
June.
year, yeah.
June, I think.
Okay.
And Jared's already talking, like, maybe we could go out to the start of this race, you know, because it's only in California.
Right.
That's not too bad. And I'll be out of school.
Right.
I'll not be working. And
So he's not talking about racing. He's supposed to go to the start and cheer them on. The other folks are going.
For sure.
Well,
And
that
I'm
makes sense.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But
And Mark has talked about that too.
Has he?
And sometimes they'll pull other teams, the rowers, and they have them as support for new rowers.
Okay.
And so Mark and Jared could go in and give tips and help.
I bet
the
that would be
teams.
helpful. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah,
I'm
I'd
sure
be
they would
fine
do
with
that. They'd love to do that.
Yeah.
their
So-
weatherman they've got a weatherman,
yeah.
and their weatherman is helping them. And
he rowed
he
before.
rowed last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, they're a team of 3, and there are teams of like 2, and I think there are some solo rowers, which I can't imagine. But God bless them,
Yes.
who are out there by themselves, who are in this race as well, right?
Yeah, women.
Yeah.
I just really give them props. Strong women.
Yeah.
And every time you see them on social media, it's like, oh, I'm just enjoying this. Like, they're rowing. I'm just
Like they're
enjoying
at
this
a
experience.
resort or something. Yeah. Wow.
They're into it.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, I really appreciate you both coming in
thank
and
you.
sharing a little bit about what you've been going through and your encouragement for your spouses. And we encourage them as well. We're so proud of them and thrilled to be able to kind of follow along as we have been. And they've been so great with their time to share some of their dealings with us as well. So that's been great. But I just wanted to share a couple more pictures here from the sea. This is a blue sky day, which is great. The waves don't look too ominous in this picture, at least for a moment,
Nope.
right?
It looks like a nice
then
day.
Another maybe sunset, sunrise, who knows?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of water out there. But that's what they're seeing for the next few weeks, right? Till
Yep.
end of January. But they're on target.
Yes.
And that's really exciting. And so is there anything that the community can do on their behalf as they, I know this, you said that they're, they certainly can't write back letters and things like that, but
Right.
what can we do? I know there's a Facebook page. I'm sure we can follow along on that.
There's a Facebook page. There's the YB Races app if you want to track their progress. There's their website, which you can go on the website, and if you want to donate a monetary amount, you may do so, and that's greatly appreciated. Everything from this point on going into the account will stay local. So
Nice.
for our
First
first
responder
responders.
wellness.
Yeah, wonderful. That's great.
And they did have a goal of getting $100 a mile, and they're rowing 3,000 miles. And we've done really well, and we appreciate any support. So if we don't reach that goal, it's not that we didn't reach our final goal.
Right.
We've raised a lot of money, and we've had great support from our community. And
A lot of great businesses I know that have
Yes.
sponsored
Yes, and personal
every step of the way.
individuals,
Sure,
yes.
which is
Yes.
wonderful. Well,
So-
it's been great. They put us on the map, and they're on the map, which is fun to see on the app that you mentioned. And so you can certainly track along as they progress, right? With the
Yeah.
other teams, there's like 42 teams now, I think, right? That
42 now
Yeah.
that Fighter Dies out.
yeah,
Yeah.
but they are on their way, and you can kind of watch them just kind of inch across the ocean there
Yep, it updates
from one island to the other.
Every
It's
4
obsessive.
hours.
Yeah.
Every 4
Get on
hours.
there
We're
and-
going there.
That's it. But
My mother is waking up in the middle of the night, and Jared's mother is waking up in the middle of the night. They're like, we just wake up. We just wake up, and we have to get on our phone and check. I'm like,
they're okay. There you go. But everyone's doing okay.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing good.
That's wonderful. Well, when you talk to them, give them our best
You know?
and wish them well. And we're excited to see them land in Antigua here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, ladies,
Thank
for
you for
coming
having
in.
us.
Great to see you both and have you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My guest this morning, some of the spouses of Team Guardian with me here on KSJE. KSJE is supported by the Farmington Civic Center, presenting Our Planet live in concert on Saturday, February 11th at 7:30 p.m. Combining HD cinematography with all-new orchestrations by Oscar-winning composer Stephen Price, performed by a live onstage orchestra. A journey of discovery featuring narration by legendary broadcaster David Attenborough. Find out more at fmtn.org/shows. Our Planet live in concert, Saturday, February 11th at 7:30 p.m.
Countless brands today rely on social media